knowledge. And if he did, I 100% disavow that. But you should vote for him anyway. How's that for a pitch?
I'm not Canadian. I'm not Canadian.
You're not. Oh, well, I mean,
Can I stand for?
You told me you're like Portlandian. That's like worse than Canadian.
I went to school there. That's the thing on my Facebook page. Everything I'm from Utah.
Makes a lot more sense now. So,
yeah, it says right there on the page, Logan, Utah.
Oh, it does. Okay, I'm sorry. I had Portland on my mind. So
that's all right.
Yeah, wouldn't want to ever presume anybody's from Portland, which is an interesting place to say the least.
Yeah, it is.
Did your time in Portland influence your game design?
Yeah, well, okay. I don't know how much your audience is going to appreciate this, but I actually used to be really pretty far left in like 1999, 2000 when I was a college student. I was blackballed from the group because I photoshopped George Bush's hair onto Mumia Abu-Jamal.
Really? How did that work? Did it look good?
He looked like Aziz Ansari, to be honest.
Okay. Interesting. That's I can kind of see that. See that. So they didn't like that. Why? I mean, weren't you just mocking George Bush?
Yeah, and the whole thing about Mumia. Okay, 99, right? There was a war going on,
right?
And we wanted to talk about the war, right? And we wanted to talk about not Occupy Wall Street. What was it back then? The WTO protests.
Oh, that's right.
Like important things. And there was this like 18-year-old girl running the African-American woman running the rear guard, which is like the quote-unquote radical student paper. And it was just wall to wall. It was only like 16 pages, but every page was about Mumia. Every single page. Which, I don't know, not to get conspiratorial.
I was too young to care at that point.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's almost like the shepherds who like guide the radical left, like try to push people toward issues that nobody cares about.
And you can't do anything about, right?
And, right. And even if you could build support, like there's nothing to be done because Mumia is guilty as hell. And I guess I was in charge of the website, and I was just really frustrated. So I just thought it'd be funny. And so they started. I put Bush's hair on Mumia, and just put that on the page, and everybody started speculating how I had mental issues and.
Oh no!
Yeah.
So you can't make it funny. Even this goes back to 1999. So I learned you couldn't make funnies or talk about the liberal cause of the day in 2012. I mean, I've always been on the right. I never changed that. But 2012 is when I really started seeing the difference due to social media of this like weird social pressure circles starting.
Yeah, I was an early adopter of the current brand of social justice. It's extremely neurotic.
Yeah, it really is.
Just a bunch of people who are just mad and need a reason.
Well, that's the entire deal of the internet. I just think that like everything's about getting mad. Everything's about like current cause, whatever it is. I mean, like I totally forgot that cause existed. And you know, almost any free prisoner movement, I feel forgotten has existed.
Yeah.
I've forgotten global warming existed, and I saw a new one on the ozone today. Remember the ozone? That was a big deal.
I remember the ozone back in the 90s, man.
Yeah, the ozone was going to kill us all.
Turned out that was not true.
Yeah, just like every single one of these is. It seems like I just feel like if the crew is hyperventilating about something, it always ends up being not true. Like that's like a.
You remember killer bees?
Oh yeah, the killer bees were all going to go extinct, and that was going to cause
No, that's the new one.
No,
I
the
mean,
killer bees were going
the
to kill
Africanized
the
killer bees.
right. They were
We're
going
gonna
to kill the
murder
regular bees.
everybody.
Oh man, that's right. I
They're
forgot
gonna
about
murder
that.
all the people. Hyper
Right.
aggressive Africanized killer bees. We're gonna come up from Mexico and
I totally
like,
forgot
oh
about that.
God.
Yeah. No, we're losing bees. Yet the killer bees. And then
Losing bees is a new thing. Now we want to save the bees. Back then we wanted to murder all the bees.
right. What happened to the West Nile virus too?
It killed like 4 people. It was a real thing, but
It was a real thing, but it only killed like 4 people. So, but we're supposed
yeah,
to hyperventilate and flip out, right?
Shark attacks, man. Shark attacks are up.
Shark attacks are the new thing, and science is proving that you can't do anything about a shark attack. Science.
Chainmail underpants?
Yeah.
I don't know.
So this is like the general theme of the internet that I typically run across, and that's why I found your game so funny. I for one can't believe Kickstarter allows this. I was sure that this was going to get shut down as soon as it like got any traffic.
It's been deranked. We're pretty sure.
Oh, you're not getting hits on the site because they're hiding you.
They're hiding us. Yeah, you have to know where they're. Yeah, we show up last.
Interesting.
Yeah.
So you're a graphic designer. You went to school for this. Is that what you went to school for in Portland?
Yeah.
All right. And then what have you done since then? I mean, that's a long time since the dream of the 90s in Portland there.
Limping along as a commercial illustrator.
Yeah. Cool.
Yeah.
And how'd you get into game design? What's that deal?
How to get into game design? This is my first game.
This is your first game?
Yeah.
So you literally was like, I just had this idea and this is it. Walk us through it.
Yeah, pretty much. Well, the idea has been in development for like 10 years, but yeah, we decided to do it.
Cool. Who's we? Is it a team? Is it just you?
I have another guy. I feel bad if I don't say we.
Okay.
Will Thompson. He made the videos and he helps me write, and we do the play testing together. Yeah.
Cool.
He's very talented.
All right. I love this graphic right here where it's you, LOL, and of course misspelled. Has that triggered anybody so far?
That in particular, I think everybody recognizes that as an ancient meme.
It's a great meme. Oh
ancient
man.
Memes in the early days of the internet.
And that's what drew me to this is you are putting so many different memes into this. It's almost meme overload.
I'm trying to reference the memes without actually like putting memes in the game, because if you just put memes in the game, then it's gonna get old very quickly.
That's well, you have Honkler right here.
That's true, but that one is a reference to a meme. So,
all right. So tell us how to play.
How to play?
Yeah.
Okay. Well,
tell us.
Describe the game. Tell you what you're trying to do. It's like I guess superficially, in the thing that people gets people quote unquote triggered is that they think it's making fun of leftist issues. It doesn't. This is aimed squarely at the activists themselves,
right?
The affluent white people who
have nothing better to do.
So it's a game, right? Who have nothing better to do, who are neurotic, who use these minor groups as shield and as bludgeons to hurt each other, basically.
Yeah.
So there were 8 social justice warriors. There are now 12. So you pick one of those, and your goal is to defeat all of the other social justice warriors.
We got your favorite archetypes here. We have Miss Problem Glasses, and she'll always be telling you about her problems 100% of the time. I know her very well. There's lots of those in the Bay Area. And then there's the Antifa Crusader. These are probably your old college buddies at Portland who are now professors, and then they put on masks and then break shit. And then we got the Marxist academic. That's beautiful. Also probably your old college buddies in Portland. They're probably still in school 15 years later. You can never.
That's actually Cornell West.
Nice.
You don't CNN. So you know who
That's
that is.
awesome. Yes. The Trustafarian. I love this. I love this. Oh man, it's so funny. Yes, the trust fund girl who is very into urban culture, shall we say, and likes to show how woke she is. So okay, so we've got more.
Yeah.
So here's 8 more. Well, those are microaggressions. Captain Fedora is obviously
Should I
one
go
of them.
on?
Yeah. Will you tell me how?
Yeah.
Is there a whole list of all of these?
There's the 8
There's
base
the
ones. I
original 8.
haven't added
The
the other.
lipstick lesbian, the burnout, and the brood matriarch. Oh, that might be my favorite. I'd have to play as her, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah.
She is also my favorite.
Okay.
I think she's.
She's stunning
So
and brave.
yes.
Yes.
And interesting.
And interesting.
So basically, yeah. Basically the idea is you assemble a coalition of originally they were just like points. You were just going to be like a running total of points, and that wasn't very good. So we just like switched them over into followers, and then the NPC meme started up like, oh, you know what? That's just perfect. So
That's absolutely
we adopted
perfect.
that immediately. Yeah. So you would recruit a coalition of NPC followers, and the other players are trying to stop you. And you do that by accusing your fellow justice warriors of minor infractions against liberal piety. These are known as microaggressions. And yeah, you can, if you have one of those in your hand, you slap it down on the other player, and it makes that follower card inert. You can't build on it, and doesn't count towards your total.
So it's
what that actually does,
it's 100% a card game.
Go ahead. It's 100% a card game. There are no dice. There are no counters. There is no calculation to be done. The rules are quite complicated, but there's no calculating you have to do. I'm very pleased with that.
Well, the rules of social justice are very complicated and ever changing, as you mentioned in the game here, which is great. Good theme.
It's pretty strategic. Every time we play, we come up with a new thing we didn't see before.
So you get a hand. You basically get a hand of cards of I guess followers and microaggressions, right? Is that how it works?
You get a hand of 7. There will be followers in there, microaggressions, virtue signals, and there are a whole bunch of different specials. Also plots. Plots change the rules a little bit. For example, most of the time you can only block the other players, but we have one plot that's called a race to the bottom. You'll play that in the middle of the board, and until that's removed, anytime you attack somebody with a microaggression, it destroys one of their followers.
Awesome.
Miss Problem Glasses, aka Big Red, you do double damage. That's her power. All the characters have different powers.
Oh, cool. So, and are they as good as are they good themes with all of them? What's Captain Fedora's power?
Oh, well, he white knights, of course.
Oh,
he can only creep on the ladies. He can only creep on the ladies. If you are a girl and you have a microaggression card played against you, Captain Fedora can use one of his virtue signal cards to remove it, like help you out.
Oh, wow! So he's got the buff, yeah. Now, what if you
that entitles him to that card because you owe him something for being a nice guy.
What if you identify as a girl?
Oh, well, there's only one character that can do that. Brood Matriarch can change her gender at will and without warning. That's what she does. There are several gender-based mechanics. Like that was one of them. Captain Fedora can only creep on the girls. So if you're a Brood Matriarch, you can just say, "I'm not a girl right now, so you can't do that to me."
That's funny.
There's some plots that say only boys can play and only girls can play. There are some special cards that destroy followers from boys and girls. And if you're Brood Matriarch, you can just say, "I'm not a girl right now. That doesn't affect me."
Wow, so Brood Matriarch's like invincible.
She's I think she's pretty balanced. It's a kind of a passive power. You know what I mean? It doesn't allow her to do anything. It just makes her immune to some things.
Mm-hmm.
It does make her immune to some pretty devastating effects, but yeah.
All right. So it looks like so you get like what, one action per turn. You can play a follower, or you can play a microaggression, or whatnot. Is that pretty much how it works?
Usually, yes.
And then
There are special cards that change that.
of course, so you play your follower, and it looks like your follower has to match the color on the card. Is it? I'm just guessing.
Yeah.
Here. Based on it seems pretty straightforward on that front. And then microaggressions. Right. So they play on top of followers to block the follower. Yes.
Right. That doesn't make perfect sense. It should be against the player, but just stacking cards on the player card is not terribly strategic. This way, it's more strategic. You can block the powerful groups, or say somebody has only red and yellow valences. You can block the blue ones. Like, okay, you can't play blue now.
Can you play it on the one that's attached right here, so it blocks off all the followers in the chain behind it, or does it have to be on the edge?
How's that? Well, it will only block the card that it's on. It doesn't affect any neighboring cards. We tried that. It didn't work out so well.
Interesting. So microaggressions. So the examples are I don't think I can read the text here. It's a little too small. Sometimes a cartoon is just a cartoon, and sometimes
it's a big googly-eyed swastika.
Oh yeah, gosh, those are scary.
Yeah,
very scary.
There's 50 microaggression and virtue signal cards, and they're all unique, every single one.
Okay. And do microaggressions have to play on a certain color follower, or how does that work?
Yes, they do, except for certain characters and certain plots. Like the Antifa Crusader, one of his powers is that he can attack without restriction. He's not limited to the number of attacks, and he's not limited to what he can attack. So he's just about the anarchy, man. He doesn't have to pay attention to alignment.
He'll just hit anything. Nice.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, it seems pretty straightforward. So you have the followers, and then you play these kind of slow down the progress and block the followers. And then we have, let's see, and the different levels are some followers are worth more than others. Then yes.
Right, and have more alignments.
Okay. Oh, I see it. Yep. Cool. And then plots are the rule altering of the game, and this signifies reality, because you never know what the cause of the social justice warrior is that week. You mentioned that we were talking about WTO, and then it was Occupy Wall Street, and now it's who knows what this week. So here we are. We've got you mentioned Race to the Bottom. We got a participation award. That's pretty good. Yeah, everybody deserves a trophy.
Right. When that one's in play, you can only play level 1 followers. It's really aggravating because nobody likes to try hard, man. Nobody likes to try hard.
Nobody. A lot of people are asking if about backing this and if it's available. There's a link in the description, guys, on YouTube. It's up on Kickstarter right now. I'm actually on the Kickstarter page, and it's got 8 days to go. So there you go on that. I found this early on. Just thought this was so freaking funny. You really have a. It was interesting. It looked like for a second there. I mean, it looked like one of those games that it had like 4,000 or 5,000 at the time, and I thought, okay, I thought what you thought, that Kickstarter was going to bury the link and all that, and it was just going to disappear.
They did.
But then a few friends of mine, we kind of posted it virally, and have some pretty big accounts that get retweets. So it's like that. I think it did go a little bit viral, at least, hopefully.
It did.
And we've got this going now, which is great, because there are no games really representing normal people anymore.
Regular people? Yeah. No, they're not. You are not allowed.
I was just a couple weeks ago. I'm a big RPG. Are you a big gamer for the most part, or?
Not. I have 7,000 hours in Europa Universalis 4, and I play no other games. So how about that?
Really? Well, those games are those aren't just games; those are lifestyles.
True.
So you get into that stuff. Wow. And it's over, and that's why I try not to play games like that and just play little card games like this.
Yeah.
But I've been an RPGer for a long time, and a couple weeks ago, there's this game called Deadlands, which I used to write for back in the day, and it's a weird Western RPG, and it's it's got this like alternate history where there's all these monsters and steampunk things and demons and zombies and all this other crap.
Right on.
Like a good horror deal setting.
Uh-huh.
And part of what went on was the Civil War just never stopped, so bodies kept piling up, right? And as the setting goes on, the Civil War just keeps expanding. Well, they announced that they're going to be retconning everything so that it's over, the South loses, and you cannot play the South as a character anymore. You can't play a Southerner.
Come on.
Because I know. And I'm just like, are you kidding me?
In a Civil War game where you can't play the Civil War.
And it's like he's a nice guy, of course, but it's like, some people could get really hurt by that, and it's really not necessary to have that in a game. And I'm just like, it's really not necessary to erase history just because like two people are going to get outraged on the internet.
Yeah.
And that's what I'm sick of seeing these days. Yeah.
Can I just say something?
Yeah.
These guys, there aren't very many of them, right? And they don't really have that much power. They have power because we choose to give it to them.
That's why I try to tell everybody all the time. The social pressure that these guys put, if you just don't listen, it doesn't matter. It doesn't really hurt you. I mean, I guess it can. I mean, you mentioned to me that you kind of lost a lot of job prospects in the graphic design world because of basically your politics, right?
That's true.
But on the other hand, you've got the opportunity to now make this game, which is going pretty bonkers. So it's pretty great. And so you just got to move on. You got to move on. And and that's my motto here on the show. If you cuck, you lose. Because the entire object is to get you to bow down and to be oppressed, and to have you and not be able to say your ideas, not be able to make your games, not be able to make your graphic design. They want you to bow out and lose and just be sad. And that is their entire MO. They want everybody to be miserable because they're miserable. And
exactly.
I refuse to do that. And you too.
Yeah, I'm not gonna. Yeah, we decided going in they'll probably ban us, but that's not going to stop us. We're just going to keep going.
What I always tell everybody is look, don't worry about getting banned. If you banned, it's just better for you, because then you become a cause, and because we're so polarized right now, it doesn't matter. I mean, there is enough momentum on that polarization where the right always goes and kind of rallies around those who are banned at this point, and that's kind of what's happening. I mean, I obviously have done very well with that. I mean, it was not my intention to get that to happen, but once I got banned from a idiotic science fiction convention, I was able to capitalize on that and then move forward and just not quit. And by my not quitting, that's how I win. And that's what I tell everybody that you got to do. Never back down to these people. Never give them an inch, because every inch they demand is just trying to screw with you. And no matter what happens, they're going to try to screw with you harder. So that's the lesson, I guess. Yeah. Rah rah.
Rah rah. Don't bend the knee.
And that was Trump's lesson to us too. If you look at the 2016 election, it was a reaction because we saw in 2008. Actually, we'll go back to 1992. We saw in 1992 that George H.W. Bush lost by being the clean, I'm the nice guy. And Bill Clinton was the I don't give a you know what. And he won because the nice guy is boring. And if you are not fighting and the other side's fighting, the other side's going to win. And Bill Clinton, you know, like him or not, I mean, obviously I don't. He's a fighter, and he's going to win. Yeah. Then you get into 2000, and you had two non-fighters competing for the spot. You had Gore and other Bush, and you know it was like this it was almost a dead heat because nobody wanted either of them to be president, and they both sucked. So that's what happened. And then you have Bush going against John Kerry. You have the same situation in 2004. John Kerry's even worse of a lame duck. And so this goes on. In 2008, we come back around full circle, and we have Obama, who's a fighter, and believe me, with him and Rahm Emanuel, those guys are vicious. Obama puts on nice guy smile and all that, but these are the most vicious politicians in our nation's history, hands down. And they crushed John McCain because John McCain was trying to be Mr. I'm a nice guy, grandpa, I'm moving to the middle loser. And nobody cared. Yep. Nobody is interested in that. Nobody wants to back or support that. No, there's no message there. There's nothing interesting going on whatsoever. And of course, Mitt Romney is the exact same thing. So the Trump lesson we learned right away is Trump got out there. Trump gave zero fucks, and he just went out and he said, well, let's just build a wall. And everybody flipped out and said, that's the dumbest thing ever. And then they all did that. And then all the real people just went, yeah, a wall is something tangible I can get behind. And if he's not going to cuck, then we're going to be all for it. And then everybody went for it, and all the Republicans were blown the fuck out. And that's your lesson right there. And then he went against vicious Hillary, and he blew her the fuck out too. So if you do not give up, if you just have a message that's consistent, and if it makes sense, and if you hold to it, you're going to win at the end of the day.
Yeah. Yeah. The other thing Trump did that was really brilliant is ever since like the political correctness thing started, like early 90s, like I want to say 93, 94, it became like you were not able to make fun of any minority groups anymore. Like before that, you know, like Eddie Murphy Raw, like he went hard on everybody, but then you couldn't do that. So every comedian and every piece of media that existed had to shift, and they started making fun of basic Southerners, like poor white people. Like
that's it.
So you have the situation where like the ruling class of your country is making fun and actually loads the working class of their own country. Like if that was any other country, and if it was like, I don't know, China, and you saw like the rich people in Shanghai, like doing these brutal attacks on like the farmers who live in their own country, you'd say they were horrible people.
Absolutely.
Right? Yeah.
It's very bizarre how that works. Yeah.
Yeah. And he gets those people to attack him. And so the majority of the countries is like, oh, you know, the media attacks us and now they're attacking him. This guy's one of us. True or not, it's brilliant strategy.
It's a great strategy. And as a elitist New York billionaire, that's insane that he was able to brand himself as that. And it stuck. I mean, it stuck to the point where the media is still on him, acting like he's this, like, you know, racist redneck caricature from Alabama or something. And he's like tried and true New York City boy. It's ridiculous.
I know. He's from Queens. Him and Bernie are both from Queens, and they're about the same age.
Isn't that amazing?
Yeah, I wonder if they knew each other growing up.
Probably not. Yeah, Bernie didn't have that kind of money, I don't think.
Bernie and Trump have the exact same accent, but Bernie's accent is folksy and down to earth, and Trump sounds like a retard.
I know, right? Yeah, they do sound exactly the same. It's really funny.
They're both from Queens, from the same time period.
It's unbelievable to think about. Yeah, it's interesting how those strategies work. And I think, I don't know, I think it does come down to simplicity and not talking down to your audience. I mean, if you look at, you know, what I'm doing in comics and science fiction, it's the same thing. You know, the comic readers and the science fiction readers, are dealing with they're dealing with like Ta-Nehisi Coates. You know who Ta-Nehisi Coates is?
I do not.
He's a writer for The Atlantic, woke black guy, that sort of deal. He's writing
Okay.
Captain America, and so of course, Captain America is all like about fighting Nazis, and they have all these deals, and these loser incels, right? And he literally says loser incels in a recent comic, and it's like,
oh no,
wait a minute, the all American guy, like your hero, who's being read by, like, who reads comics? What's the demographic that reads comics?
Boys.
Loser incels.
Boys.
So
okay,
I mean, think about it. You're at least the character. It's the redneck thing, right? I mean, it's the same thing as like criticizing the poor whites and then calling them rednecks and whatever. The middle-aged nerd is the person, male, who is the person who's reading comics. The people that get called incels by these types. So it is literally the same elite like shitting on the comic book audience as it is the elites shitting on the working class while asking the working class to pay for them. It's the same situation all the way around, and it's just mind-boggling that this is happening in every strata.
It's like literally they forgot how marketing works,
right?
You know what I mean? Like 20 years ago, like you would have like teams of people go out and like analyze the market and do like focus groups and find out who is our audience and what do they want, and then like give it to them. And it was kind of cynical in a way and pandering, but at least they knew who their audience was, right?
Well, now they know who their audience is, and they go, we're trying to reach a different audience.
Yes, but it doesn't work that way. It doesn't work that way.
I always tell everybody that, and it's the same thing. They have all these initiatives in science fiction and all that, where they, it's like they have these books that are like, we're highlighting only female authors in science fiction. And I'm like, why? And they're like, well, female authors need to be represented in science fiction. I'm like, why? and they're like, well, historically, blah 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 blah, and blah blah blah, and there's been no women in science fiction. I'm like, historically, you look at publishing outside of science fiction, though, all the women who read romance or read historical or whatever, and 93% of publishing is dominated by women. This is like the one spot where like men like had an interest group, and you're just telling them to go shove off. And obviously that's not going to sell well, and that's not going to generate sustainable sales, but they do that anyway. And the results are, science fiction goes from books that sell hundreds of thousands and millions to books that sell in the thousands. And that's what happens in comics. I'm pretty sure that's what happens in games too. I mean, we're seeing these new woke games like we were just talking about, and there's the people just don't want to have to deal with that while they're trying to have fun with their family on a Friday night.
Right. Well, Jordan Peterson points this out, and it's definitely true that boys in general are more interested in things, and women are more interested in people. So if you read like a classic like girls book, like Pride and Prejudice or something like that, there's no world building and there's no interesting objects in the world, but it goes like way deep into like the people and their relationships. It's quite complex. Sure. Quite intellectual, but it's all about people. And boys, maybe not so interested in that. The superhero and the comic book stuff, those characters are very shallow generally. It's all about the world and the big idea and the tech or whatever. And that's a guy thing. It's not because people keep the girls out. It's just, it's not girl media. There is girl media.
No, it just is what it is. And that's the thing, is there is girl media. It exists. It's fine. It's actually, and the reason that, a lot of the corporations start to veer that way is because the girl media does outsell the guy media in general. The male media is just not, they don't stick around, and there's not as much spending that goes on there. Because of course they want to capture that, but like, it's not an either or proposition, especially if you're like a freaking, Disney. You can produce your girl content and your male content and just capture it all instead of, but what they're doing is they're just saying that, one of the sexes is just not worthwhile at all. You better change and become a new male.
Yeah.
Do you have a new male in here?
We do. I don't. I just added him.
Is he not
He'll
on
be
the
on
page?
the.
On
He's
the
on the Facebook.
update?
But, he's not in here.
Dun,
No,
dun.
he's not. He's not on the.
Oh,
He's
he's
not on the
not.
Kickstarter. No.
Oh,
All
sad.
the. I'm uploading like 2-3 cards a day, so I just put all those on the Facebook page because it would be too many updates.
I don't see. What's the Facebook page called? Is it called Virtue Signal the Game?
It's
Oh,
called
there it
Virtue
is.
Signal
All
again.
right.
You're gonna go look at.
I'm looking for it. I like visuals. We're on YouTube. I can show this stuff. Let me hide my DMs. Oh, the soy boy. Yes. Okay, guys, this is pretty funny. This is a beautiful beautiful picture too. Let's get this up here. So this is one of your new characters you mentioned.
Yeah, I
The
did him
soy
yesterday.
boy. One of these days, your wife's boyfriend will push you too far. Estrogen rampage. When the soy boy has 4 or more microaggressions played against him, he may play unlimited attacks during his turn. Oh, that's really funny. That is, I deal with this every day on a site called twitter.com. And
I've heard of that.
yeah, and what happens on twitter.com is there's these alleged men on there, and they just like all they do is like they will just relentlessly attack you no matter what.
Yeah, when we were when the project hadn't been deranked yet on Kickstarter, and we were drawing a lot of attention, and we had people come and troll the page and attack us like really random stuff, you know. And one of them was this guy, and he looked just like this. He had the hair scrunchie and the orange hair, kind of pudgy, and the glasses. And I just like, dude, you have an awesome look. Do you mind if I use you in a card? And then I did, and this is him.
Yeah, and then somebody said, "Where's the beard and the latte?" That's really funny.
Under his snuggie.
Yeah, that's real. That's really great that somebody tried to harass you, and he got immortalized in this game. It's just beautiful.
Yeah.
That's the beauty of art and creativity is you can really just do whatever you want, and this is awesome too. Yeah. Was this your design?
Yeah,
it is.
These are me.
Oh, that's funny. I saw this shirt getting shared around by other people. So
really,
that's great. This is the teapot that looks like Hitler.
People think I made that up. I did not make that up. That was a Huffington Post article from 2013.
Was it? No way.
Yeah. There was a JCPenney ad that had that teapot on it, and people were freaking out. Like, that teapot looks like Hitler.
No way. Oh, God. That's so funny.
Yes, teapot that looks like Hitler, Huffington Post 2013. They kind of backed off a little bit after the week because people were laughing at them.
They probably sold a lot of teapots.
I guess. No. Problematic teapot.
Nice. Are you selling these t-shirts? These are great t-shirts.
Yeah, they're project add-ons.
Awesome.
Cool. Well, we didn't make all of them. We were making this one, the NPC one, we're making the teapot one, and the chicken one.
Nice. The Anti-Bullying League. All right. Super fun stuff. So you've been developing this over like 10 years, and that's pretty great. Has it always had the virtue signaling theme, or was it just like a card game that then eventually just kind of made sense?
Oh, you want me to go through the history of the mechanics? I can do that.
Sure.
Originally we thought, what would best model the kind of one-upmanship and the social justice left, and I thought, it's kind of like Millborns. You know what I mean? Millborns, the auto racing game. If you're familiar?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I loved that game when I was a kid. Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
I played all the time. You'd try to. So for those who don't know, it's a card game just like this, and you kind of play a card per turn, and then you get upgrade cards basically, and you get point cards that you could play, and then you tried to accumulate the most amount of points, and then you'd again have like the microaggressions. You'd have cards like that, like car accidents that you could play on on your opponent and make them lose points and lose all their upgrades and things like that. And so that was kind of the deal with that.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So initially it was like that. So it was like a running count of like liberal virtue points, which didn't make very much sense. And you could just like stop people, and then you could restart yourself again, and that was it. It was like, maybe we can do more with this. This isn't very much fun. So we split the virtue points into like 4 different things. We gave them alignments, like 4 different kinds of virtue points. That way, a little bit more strategic, right? And then you'd have, and then we split the hazard cards, I guess, which is what the microaggressions are, up into 4 different kinds. So you had like 4 running counts of 4 different kinds of points. Like, well, this isn't very strategic either. It's very much luck of the draw, whether or not you get a card. So INWO, the Steve Jackson game, Illuminati New World Order, they do their point cards in like kind of a spanning tree. You know what I mean? Like dominoes. It's like, oh, we'll do that, right? We'll keep the alignments. We'll keep the hazards like Milbournes, and we'll just like we'll put it out into a tree. That way, it's a little bit strategic the way you build. And then that opened up a whole bunch of different things that we could do with like the plots and the different specials.
Nice. Yeah. It seems to work out really well. So I'm excited.
Yeah.
When are you going to come out with the app version?
People have asked me about that. I cannot program. If somebody wants to, the artwork is done.
Yeah. That's all the rage these days. I mean, you probably would, be able to get a pretty good group on that. That's an interesting idea. If folk,
we get banned from the App Store, we would.
I know, but then you become a cause, as you said, as I keep talking about. It'd be the best thing for you.
Come download the APK.
Yeah. Neat. All right. So what's your plan? So you're a graphic designer. You've done all the art for this. What are your? Do you have a grand design?
Well,
was it just like a lark, or what? You gonna be a game designer from here on out?
I don't want to work with people on the coast anymore. They don't want to work with me either. So I don't think I want to do client work anymore. If we can keep this going, then I'll keep this going. If not, then I guess I'll find something else. But this has been really enjoyable. Not just having the Kickstarter succeed, but like connecting with an audience who doesn't hate me.
Isn't it great? That's the big thing that's the big thing that a lot of people don't realize about this stuff. When you come out like this, I'm coming out of the closet. Hashtag out of the closet day or whatever. When you come out of the closet like this, it is unlike the LGBT crap, guys. The LGBT crap, you're going to get golf claps from everybody, and there's nobody who's going to bother you. So there is nothing brave about that. There's nothing interesting about that. I don't know why people keep talking about that. Like, I mean, there's literally no danger. Every corporation out there will protect you, and then in fact they will fear you because they will see if they even misstep once, you're going to sue the hell out of them, and they think they're gonna lose because they're very scared of that. And so you have a ton of power. That sort of group has huge power. But as a right winger, or as a Christian, or as a conservative, or whatever you want to be, that's not part of the narrative at this point, you are taking huge risks, and because of that, you will actually lose all of your friends. You'll lose probably a bunch of clients, a bunch of coworkers. All those sorts of things will happen, 100% for sure. But on the flip side of that, you're going to gain a bunch of people that, if you're not afraid to stand up for yourself, people like that. People like to see that you're not only willing to stand up for yourself, but they know that you're going to be willing to stand up for them too. If there's something that causes a problem in their lives, they know that you're going to be a reliable person, because you'll be the type of person who's willing to take personal risks in order to have a principle. And that's extremely rare these days, and it's really nice meeting people like that. I 100% agree.
Yeah, and then you get to meet up with a whole bunch of other likewise fearless people.
Yeah.
Maybe collaborate on something. I don't know. And then you're unstoppable.
I know.
You've weeded out all the dead wood and all the weak genetics.
It's pretty great stuff. So I'm totally happy where I'm at, and I wouldn't go back and try to hide things or anything like that. I think I think the people who are attempting to be quiet and trying to not rock the boat, those people will always throw people like you and me under the bus as it is, and that's what gives these nut jobs their social power to begin with, because they know they can get those quote centrists to try to hit us, and that's the whole deal. But those centrists, here's the other part: when the social pressure starts to move the other way, they will get buddy with you, and they will follow you and throw them under the bus. So it's going to be all about that. So you can never worry about those because that type never reacts to anything but social pressure.
That's true. When that happens, I'll move on because I don't want to be with those people.
Right? Yeah, it's just never worth it. I've never seen a situation where that's worth it. And I see a lot of centrists. I get a lot of them like, John, if you weren't so extreme or weren't doing this or didn't post this meme, I would have been friends with you. Like they try to warn you about that too. And it's just like, okay, well, if you're gonna not be my friend over a meme, like, I mean, you have your priorities out of whack for life. Like it's not important. A little photo that blasts by your feed once that you will not remember again in 2 weeks is not an important thing.
No,
believe it or not.
People are like that, though. People are like that.
I know people are like that. It makes me really sad. I mean, it really, our society's priorities are so out of whack at this point that I don't really see a way back. I don't know.
I don't think it's ever been any different.
Yeah.
I'm old enough that I saw it like completely shift over. Like back in the 80s and the 90s, it was like the satanic panic people.
I am a satanic panic person because it's real, and all of this is Satan.
Well, you know what I mean? Like
I know.
Like heavy metal music makes you kill yourself and stuff like that. That was like, people laugh at it now, but that was like the rage, and everybody believed it, and police departments investigated it. And if you wore like a devil shirt, you were sent home from school. Potential school shooter.
Potential school shooter. I know.
You had all these creative, like these bands and like movie makers and stuff who capitalized on this, on the outrage of soccer moms, and made billions of dollars.
Yep. And we're gonna do the same. And I think we're at the beginning of that. I mean, this is like, we talk about it in context of that, but really all that started with like, little punk bands in the 80s, little gutter punk bands and things like that, who they'd play at little small clubs and all that, just like we're playing to small audiences online right now. But you stick with it, and you're one of the originals. Over time, that's going to build. And I think that when you're going to come down into your second and third game here after you deliver something fun here, it's gonna build. You're gonna have 1,000. You're probably gonna end up with 1,200, 1,500 backers by the end of this. I'm gonna guess. But when you do, yeah, I think
we are deranked. People are not going to see us. When they could see us, we were pulling in like 200 backers a day. But as soon as they deranked us.
Okay, so let's go into games. Let's go into games. Let's do some sleuthing. Games. All right. Tabletop. Okay. So let's see what we can find. Are you in? Let's see. How do I even explore games? Explore games. All right. We have, okay, let's see where we're at on these things. This is a big one, so it should be up top because it's 300,000 going. So that's probably really trending. This looks like it's really trending.
We used to be on this front page. On day 6, we were on this front page. At the bottom, but we were here.
Uh-oh. I'm not finding you.
Yeah. I'm told by other people that we are dead last.
Dead last, huh?
Dead last.
Wow. I wonder why they didn't just outright ban you.
Didn't want to give us attention.
Is that it?
We're
going through.
Yeah,
a castle. Literally a castle is ahead of you. Okay. And we know that, like, look at this, Shepherds and Wolves. This looks like a little just like cheap thing, barely making it with $3,000, and yet yours is not coming up.
$200 pledged ahead of us.
Yeah, right. I do like these little like mini villages and stuff like that. These are pretty creative, but that's a side thing. Yeah, I'm still not finding you. We're scrolling down, and you are still not coming up.
Nope.
Area 51. Look at this. It's got $139. 1% funded. It definitely looks like somebody barely even thought about this and just put it up, and you're still not coming up.
Nope. I told you, man. There are like 300. There are 300 things here, and we're at the bottom.
And so you're dead last. I'm keeping going.
Cry me a river. Look at that. $100 pledged.
$7 pledge. A Cthulhu Mythos board game. Oh wow, that sounds creative. And not going anywhere. But apparently, now how do they do this? Do they? If I refresh, is it going to come up with something random?
I don't know.
In theory.
Oh no, it should be ranked according to whatever their algorithm is.
What is their algorithm here? I haven't figured out the Kickstarter algorithm. It says sorted by magic, so this should be random. Let's go to most funded, because I want winners. Now look, they've got all these dead games that like aren't even active. Can you search by active? This gets into a lot. You have to do a lot at this point. All projects, live projects. Let's go by live projects. Okay, and let's see if you are actually come up as most funded. Okay, so we're in the hundreds of thousands. Wow, there's a lot of games in the hundreds of thousands. This is crazy.
Yeah, there are.
63. So we're down to 42. We're down to 48. Okay. Is it happening? Here you are. Okay, so you are in order.
Oh, yeah. Yay.
Okay.
Okay, excellent. So we show up that road.
So you do show up on that road. Popularity. Let's see. How do they measure popularity? Is this how many backers there are?
I do not know.
You're not very popular, it looks like. Not with the Kickstarter employees, right?
We used to be quite popular.
Huh. Okay, so these are still like respectable. This is not $687. This ranks ahead of you in quote popularity, whatever that means. Yeah, so they are suppressing you. Okay. What can you do?
Nothing. It's okay. We're gonna fund, and then we'll use the money to see if we can get ourselves better places. Go to better places.
Good. Excellent. And we want to facilitate that. So it looks like you got a backer over the course of the stream, at least. Try to get everybody. Yeah. I think we're pretty good. At this point, the show is getting people at least 2-3 backers on these things every time. So that's it's pretty useful. And so there will probably be some on replay and all that who will be down also. I love it. I love supporting projects that are definitely on the team. And this is subversive and makes me happy because, I know that Kickstarter wants to take this down, if anything, and just I love this. That's one of the things I like to do. Everybody's like, why are you streaming on YouTube? And why are you doing that? I'm like, I want to be on their platforms and like have the fact that I'm monetized on their platform be a thing. That's really funny, you know?
Until they kill you.
Until they kill you. But yeah, it's that's the thing. It's like, if they kill me, I'll just go somewhere else. But if they don't, then I'll just keep using this. And that's just how it goes. And I think that's how it'll go for every platform. I think people should use where they're likely to be found the most. And that's what you're doing. So cool. All right. Do you have anything else to add? Do you want to rant? Do you want to rant about
something?
Rant about what are we outraged about today?
I don't know.
The Ukraine.
I'm not
the Ukraine.
outraged.
Are you outraged about the Ukraine? No.
Should I be?
Um,
No. I'm
let's
not
see,
even following.
msnbc.com. Let's see. Devastating
I
opening
have
statement.
not followed
Phony
mainstream
constitution.
media.
Oh, it doesn't matter because he's rich. Well,
Yeah,
look at
but
the amount of look at the
that's
amount
true.
of quotes they put on this. Trump says the phony is in quotes. Constitution is not in quotes, so he doesn't even necessarily have to be talking about that. Doesn't matter. Like they could have taken any statement for doesn't matter because he's rich. Also in
Quote
quotes. Can you
unquote, yeah.
imagine? Can you imagine having that many like little scare quotes in one headline? That like, gosh, how do you write a headline like this and not get sued? You know?
They this nobody reads this.
Oh yeah, that's true.
Nobody reads this. I get all my news off of YouTube, so I don't know what's going on with this at all. I'm very much caught up in like how immoral loot box mechanics are.
We better be outraged that he says the phony constitution doesn't matter because he's rich, even though he didn't actually say that. Be
It's
outraged.
bottom of the barrel journalism for really stupid people.
Conservatives want Trump out and Pence in.
I'm
Maybe
sure that's
yeah. So oh boy, I'm not that outraged. What about HuffPo.com? I'm not outraged enough to say there's nothing going on. Diplomat confirms quid pro quo. Oh, look at this. This is way better outrage.
Headline.
This is way better outrage.
Impeachment is happening. Impeachment is happening. Yay.
Yay. Lynching. Oh, look at that. Spin lynching claim. Look at that. That is amazing. And sex trafficked at 14. Look at that. Look at that. And of course they pair these together intentionally too. Beautiful.
Mm-hmm.
I am outraged and I am angry and I'm going to post on twitter.com about it because that'll change things.
Yes, I will like and share your tweet.
Man, you're really, really effective at changing things by liking and sharing my tweets.
I feel like I've helped. I feel like I've done my part. I mean, I'm just one person, but I feel like I've done what I can to make the world a better place.
Excellent.
If I'm really upset today, maybe I'll change my my avatar to something really woke.
Beautiful. I think we'll end there because that is the most powerful statement I could have ever come up with, and you came up with it. So, so yes, that's it. Go back to game. This is pretty cool. I'm excited. Thank you for coming on, William. And remember,
thank you.
If you cuck, you lose. The end.
Cuck, you lose. The end.